Hello students, good afternoon to everyone. Today in this video we are going to just continue our essay Spider and the Bee written by Jonathan Swift. And we have already some introduction about the author Jonathan Swift, that he was an Irish writer, and about his many world famous works, for example Tale of a Tub, The Battle of the Books, and Abolishing Christianity, and many other famous works. And in this video we are just continuing our essay. uh, Before start this essay, we should start this video, we should have some recaption of previous video. So uh, now the dispute is over. Both the insect, the spider and the bee, put their own favor on their arguments, and we know that this incident took place in the St. John's Library. So when this dispute was going on, all the books stood up and listened this dispute very carefully. Now the bee has flew, and the spider is left alone and now thinking about the repairing of the house. So then now the dispute is over and there is now silent. So in this stressful atmosphere, the Aesop means here the books represents their own writers. So books stood up means the writers listened their dispute carefully, and now it happened this emergency that Aesop broke the silent floor. And now when the dispute is over, the whole atmosphere is has become some stressful. So to break this silence, Aesop spoke firstly, swore in the loudest key that in all his life he had never known two cases so parallel and adapt to each other. And here Aesop spoke firstly and very loudly, just like taking a swear. He said that in his whole life he had never seen two cases which are so similar to each other and adapt to each other. Means both uh, the arguments which kept by the insect uh, were not wrong with their own view, as that in window and upon the sill, means the arguments which were thrown from the window, which is the palace of spider, and cell, which is the palace of bee. The disputants means the partners, said he, have admirably managed the dispute between them. Means both the partners have full strength and they manage this dispute step by step. I have taken in full strength of all that is to be said on both sides. Means from both sides arguments were uh, coming, and that were in very well managed way, and both sides and exhausted the substance of every argument's pro and con. Means they in this debate, all aspect of a good uh, dispute came out. Both sides were very strong and both were playing very uh, very good their parts. It is but to adjust the reasoning of both to the present quarrel. And now the dispute is over. When now it's our duty to think about their quarrel and then to compare and apply the labors and fruit of each other. And now to reach an conclusion. To reach the conclusion, we will uh, make the base of labor and fruit of each. Means we will to reach the to get any result, we will have to think about their labor and the production, as the bee has learned deduce them, because the bee has uh, completely rejected the arguments of spider, deducted them, and we shall find the conclusion full plain and close upon the modern annals. And through the arguments of these insects, we will find the conclusion and full plain and close upon the modern annals. Means on the base of that uh, arguments on the base of those favor, we will find conclusion that who is superior from modern and us. Us means here to ancient. The modern and us. For pre gentle was ever anything for pre gentleman was ever anything so modern as the spider in his lair, his turns and his paradoxes. Now the Aesop presents the ancient writers, so he is clearly saying that clearly addressing the modern writers and saying that mm, gentleman was ever anything so modern as the spider. Means Aesop completely directly compared the modern writers to the spider and directly says that these modern writers are as modern as the spider, as uh, as the spider is modern in his architecture, his turn and his opposites. He argues in the behalf of you. Means Aesop is here, he is talking about the spider, and he argues in the behalf of you, his parent and himself, with many boasting of his native stock. Because Aesop is thinking about this arguments or the reason about of the spider and making the base of making the connection of those arguments to the with the modern writers. So he argues in the behalf of you and Bidran himself. Means these modern writers always argues uh, in the middle of any topic and they try to prove their own native strokes. Means they always try to prove their creation, their writings, their own matters and great genius. Means they modern writers try to always prove them superior. Then he spins and spit wholly from himself, and just the just as the spider creates all material from himself, just like that these modern writers also uh, claim to product all in all from their own self and scorn to own any obligation and assistance from without. And just the spider uh, make his castle without any help. Just like that these modern writers thinks that they uh, creates any work without any helps. Then he displays to you his great skill in architecture, and after creating a book, after creating a composition, after creating a work, they show off their architecture. Means their um, vocabulary about their own writings and improvement in the mathematics. Here in this para, the Aesop is clearly criticizing about the modern writers and he is comparing these modern writers with the spider. And as the spider products all raw material from own self, just like that Aesop thinks that modern writers also creates their material, creates their works from their own self, and he this Aesop makes fun of their or mocks or comments on the modern writers that these modern writers are just like a spider, and after creating work they just show off about their architecture. Means about the uh, uh, raw material about of the work and how they got the inspiration. All these things means modern writers always show an improvement in the mathematics. So this is our video. In next video we will complete our essay. So here is the spider. Means in this para the real matter comes out, that how modern and ancient writers are superior over each other. So firstly Aesop start the new debut. Means first debut was between the spider and the bee, and the second debut was the modern and ancient writers. So the Aesop, who is the modern, the Aesop represents the ancient writers and he criticizes the modern writers and compares them with the spider and with the nature of spiders. Means in his view the modern writers and spider are very similar, very yeah, very near to each other. So this is our video. Thank you for watching.